Well, welcome back. 2016 Nissan Rogue. Needs front and rear brakes. And a little bonus, because we check brakes, we find stuff. We found a passenger side tie rod end that's bad. I'll show you that in the beginning. Just, you can watch the wheel move, hear it, hopefully be able to hear it, but the outer tie rod's bad on this, so we're going to replace that as well. Should get an alignment done if you change any of your suspension. At least get it checked, for sure. But we're just going to do front rear brakes. It's due for front rear brakes. We're going to replace rotors and pads on the front and rotors and pads on the back. Alright, so usually, you know, get the front wheels off the ground. We like to check it, top and bottom, real tight. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. You can hear that, but you can see the movement in and out. Just wiggling it like in and out. It's got a bad tie rod end. So we're going to do tie rod end in this as well, just as a little bonus, but really we're just going to do brakes. Alright, so I just wanted to show you, it's kind of hard to show you this when I'm doing it, but you have the caliper and the mounting bracket, 14 millimeter to get for the slide bolts, and in the back here, one at the top, one at the bottom, 19 millimeter. These on the other side, I already did the other side, were very, very tight. I don't know what the torque is, I got to look it up, but they were tight. Probably, you know, looking at them, corrosion, but we're going to take these off. We're going to take these off, undo this caliper mounting bracket, and then we'll go from there. Alright, before I take this off, I'm going to get a screwdriver in here between the caliper and the outer pad and just kind of press on a little bit. Get a little play in there so it's loose, it'll come off easy. You might want to check your, before you start compressing this piston back in, which we'll do a little bit, you might want to check your reservoir. If it's full right to the top, you may want to take a little bit out of it before you do that so it doesn't overflow, and push it back out of the reservoir. I looked at this one already, it's fine, I don't have to do that, but you do want to check that. So as I said, 14 millimeter, should be able to break these loose pretty easily. Just break them loose, both of them. There we go. That bolt out. So now that we've loosened that with the screwdriver, it just comes right off there. We'll just set it here for now. Actually, I'm going to clean this right now since I have it. We want to clean the inside of the tabs here, get any corrosion off of them. We want to clean the face of the piston. This one's pretty clean, but we'll clean it up real quick. You just want to take the corrosion off of there. So, you know, that's something you always should do. We'll just come in here. You probably can't see this. Get them out of the way for you. These are not bad, so I don't have to file them. You could use sandpaper if you needed to, but these are just pretty clean, not very corroded. So just going to scuff them up, get the corrosion, a little bit of light corrosion off of them. And you can use sandpaper on this. I like to do this before I push the piston back in, so I don't have to worry about hitting the boot. So we'll just come in here, try to show this to you, and just the face of the piston here. If it was bad, I'd use a cookie wheel to do it, or a piece of sandpaper. This is pretty clean, actually. Not much to clean here. This is good. It's a good thing. All right. I might as well push that piston back in right now. Take one of your pads and get the pad off here. Inside pad on this has the indicator at the top, right there. Get it in front of the camera. So it has a new indicator, because you can't put one on the outside of these because this bracket's in the way, it'll hit it. There's 4 in the package, but just on the inside at the top when you clip a new one. I'll show you that. I just take an old pad, stick it in there like that. You can use a C-clamp or a big pair of channel locks if you have them. I'm just going to push this back in. Like I said, I'm not worried about overflowing the master cylinder because I already checked it. I know it's not right at the top, so it's not going to be a problem. And we'll just turn that out all the way back in, and I'll show you the boot here, which is probably going to get some air in it from being out, and we'll deal with that as well. That's all the way in. It should go in pretty easy. If they don't, they hang up. You want to check your caliper, obviously, or your line. Sometimes this line gets clogged out. So you can see how this is bulged out, this boot here. Sometimes they get air in them. So you take a pick or a little screwdriver, don't poke a hole, but go right in along the edge of the piston. Hopefully you can see that. And you just want to kind of pry out on it. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it did get some air out of there, it came out. You just want to work it back in, and it should settle right back in there. And once you do that, you get the, kind of like burp it, get the air out of it. Not poking a hole in it, just kind of running along the inside of the piston to the seal and pulling the seal up so I can get the air out of it. Alright, 19 millimeter, 2 bolts back in here to remove this bracket. These were brutally tight on the other side. Just saying. I couldn't get them loose with my gun even. I had to break them loose with the bar, but we're going to see if we can do it this way. Usually works. Once we get it moving, then we can put a gun on them. Alright. I say 17? 19 millimeter. I think I said that right. Hold on to your bracket when you get the last one out here. Okay. Set that down. So these are getting close. They had a little bit of life, but they're getting close. New hardware, as always. Always replace the hardware. You see a little bit of corrosion. We're going to go in there. If it's really bad, you need to go in there with a file. And just take the corrosion off. You don't want to take the metal off. You just take the corrosion off. These are not too bad. I think I can just do them on the wire wheel. You can do it with sandpaper, whatever you have. I want to get that all clean, and I'll show you that's done. Check your boots. Make sure you don't have any dry rot or cracking, anything like that. These are got a lot of brake dust on them, but they look okay. And then we're going to re-grease these. Pins look actually good, and sometimes they'll get corroded around this top groove where it grabs the boot. If it is corroded, make sure you clear them. Make sure you clean them. These look actually pretty good, but I will pull them out and re-grease them. That one's got a collar on it, so they're not the same pins on this car. You want to make sure it goes back in where it came out. I'll just leave them in there for now, and we'll take that over to wire. I want to get this rotor off next. They hang up sometimes because of the hub. You just do that. These aren't too bad. Pull it off. They tend to hang up right around this center flange of the hood, right in here. They'll hang up right around there and corrosion. So we're going to clean them and grease it with real light coat of high temp grease. Keep moisture out of there so we don't have that problem again. Sometimes they're really hard to get off, but these aren't too bad. You can do this with Scotch-Brite sandpaper. I have a cookie wheel, which I'll start with. Brake clean chemical 1001 uses, of course. Clean this at the same time. I'll let that dry. I'm going to take this over to the wire wheel, clean it up, then we'll come back. Continue from there. Okay, hopefully you can see in there. I've got that all cleaned up now. Both ends here cleaned out. Any surface corrosions off of there. These weren't too bad. I'm gonna take this is ceramic extreme Permatex. That's what I like to use behind, and metal to metal contact behind slides. I'm just gonna put a little bit on there and I'll spread it around. Like that. You don't need a lot. You know, just we're going to get it, and what we're doing is covering that surface. We're just going to cover it. Let me get a finger that has a glove on it here. To keep the moisture out of there. That's all I'm doing. Thin coat. Always opinions about this. Grease behind, grease it all, grease on top. I don't grease on top. You can do that if you want to. All I find that does is collect road grime and crud and kind of gum the pads up. Good hardware stainless. It won't corrode. So it doesn't need it. All this does is keep moisture from getting in behind the hardware and getting corrosion. And what you usually find, get this clean off, is your hardware's in here, and if it gets corrosion behind it, it tends to push the hardware towards the middle, and it goes like this and pinches the pad, and then the pad can't move in and out like it should, and that's when you have problems. So that's all this does. Keep moisture out of there. Not a lot. Thin coat. I should get an acid brush and put it in that. Hopefully that was on screen for you. I'm like out of the screen, but pay attention to what I'm doing here. Alright. Now I get my hardware. Put my hardware on here. I say this every time I do a video on brakes. Always replace your hardware. Always grease behind the hardware. You just want to. This on there. Alright, there's one. Another one here. Come on. I'm going to switch ends with this hardware. I'm not liking it. They are a little different. I don't know why. Didn't really see a difference coming off of there, but let's just see if that could be a slight difference in them. And we'll just see. Works a little better. No, it's the same. I don't know that it matters at all. Just being a real pain is what it's being. And I'm out of the picture probably most of the time for you on that. It's giving me grief. It's giving me grief here. Doesn't want to go on. Wow. Not real happy with that. Go back to the original here. Not real happy with this hardware. I didn't buy this stuff, but this is stuff I use all the time. The same manufacturer, but that one's a little better. I just don't like that. I'm not particularly fond of that fit on that one. I think it could fit a little better, but this one we'll see. And this one has to give me grief, don't you? Both are giving me grief. There we go. It's a little tight. Let me clean them up. Like I said, I don't like grease on the top side of them. Make sure I get that off of there. And that's ready to go. Boots. I almost forgot. So let's do the boots on this. Let's pull the pins. Let's clean them, re-grease them. Use a different grease for that. Just because some manufacturers have heard problems with the ceramic extreme. I've never seen it, but I use another I just use silicone, Permatex silicone for these. Clean them off. A lot of times this groove up here, it can get corroded. If it is, make sure you clean that corrosion out. These are nice and clean. And we'll just thin coat of brake grease. Make sure you get a little bit in that groove up top as well where it grabs the boot. Not a lot. You don't need to. You don't want to put a lot in here. It causes problems. You just want a thin coat on them. We'll just do that. You do them one at a time like I'm doing right now because these aren't bad. I don't really have to clean them up. And you don't have to worry about which one they came out of when you put them back. Push it back in. Now, grab the boot, kind of burp it, kind of get some air out of it. See how it stayed pretty collapsed? Air's out of it. That's what I want. Other one, same thing. Basically, hold the boot, pull it loose. These actually look pretty good, but I like to re-grease them just to be sure. See, this one has a collar on it. The other one did not. That's why we want to put it back in the same place it came out of. A little more. Okay. Same thing. Push it back in. I don't know if you heard that, but I could hear the air coming out of it. Okay. Ready to clean the rotor up, which I will spray down with brake clean before I put it in there. Alright, clean that up. Just gonna put it back on here. Okay. Get a lug nut and a hold in place. Alright, just put one back on here temporarily. Not with that one though. Get a different, a little too tall. Hold this in place. Hold our rotor in place where it's supposed to be. Now, I'm going to go clean my bolts up. I'm not going to tell you the torque specs in these. Check your car because, you know, 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, they're all different. But I do want to clean these up. I'm going to go clean them up on a wire wheel. All right, the bolts have thread locker on them now. Just hang my bracket back on here. Attach that. Not much to see, just a couple bolts. Just got to get it lined up. Turn them in, tighten them up. Look up your torque readings for yours. Like I said, I don't want to tell you what they are because they're different for every car. So these have to be tight. I will say that. They do have to be tight. Okay. Set my pads back in here. Pads are the same inner and outer for this particular vehicle. And as I said before, the indicator, the squeal indicator, wear indicator I guess technically, is only going to work on the inside pad. This bracket is in the way. You cannot put one on the outside in this particular vehicle. So, let me see if I can drop it. I want it at the top. That's where it came off of. That's also where I want to put it back. So these just clip on. The end here goes towards the wear surface. They just clip into place here. Let me get it lined up here. Should be able to clip this right in. Should be able to. I say that and then it's going to give me grief. No. Clip it right in the spot there. I'll try to show you that real close up here. So, looks like that. So you can see the wear. Sticks out a little bit. Piece of something in there with that. So I usually just put them in on an angle. In this case, they have to go that angle because this bracket will be in the way. Get them lined up, and you should be able to just twist them in there. Get them lined up in there and just push it right in. Squeeze them against the rotor. Now, we've got to grease our valve. Let me pull it down here. Make sure you don't twist your line up. So when you put it back, you want a nice, untwisted line. I'm going to grease the face of this. Hopefully it's not out of the picture. No, it's not. Let me get my grease metal to metal. It's just purple I use. Permatex Ceramic Extreme. I said that before, I'm pretty sure. Just a thin coat on the back of these tabs where they rides against this, the back of the pad. Put a little bit on the tab here. Not a lot. Just thin coat. Cover it up. And then we want to get the inside of this face of this piston. Cover that as well. All we're doing is keeping moisture out, preventing corrosion from starting in there. That's it. Just that simple. You wouldn't think it makes a big difference, but it does. Okay. I'm going to rotate this down into place. Like I said, make sure your line's not twisted up. There is a flat on these end of these slide pins that lines up with the caliper here, right here, right there. Make sure you get that in place. I don't think you'll be able to get the bolts in if you don't have it lined up correctly. So get that started, get the top one started. All right, I'm gonna get the bottom one started, same thing. I'm gonna line that up. I think it's already lined up, it looks like it. Yep. Don't crush these, 14 millimeter. They just need to be snugged up. These do not need to be really, don't go nuts on them. Not necessary. Snug them up. That's it. Okay, this should move freely. If it does, we'll go in. That's pretty much it. Make sure you pump your pedal. If you took fluid out of your master cylinder because you needed to, you thought you needed to, make sure you check it, make sure it's back at the level it should be in. Put your cap on before you pump the brake pedal. But pump your pedal, otherwise you get a scary moment because you won't have any brakes. That's it. We'll put the wheel back on. We're pretty much done.